What's up, Lakers Nation? Trevor Lane, senior writer for LakersNation.com here, and this is the Lakers Nation news feed. What a day for the Los Angeles Lakers. We woke up early this morning to news that Anthony Davis has requested a trade, and it has been nonstop ever since. We have a ton to break down, including news that just now broke. In fact, I'm having to re-record this segment because it just broke while I was already trying to record this segment. Adrian Wojnarowski with a huge Woj bomb that could change this entire situation. Can't wait to get into it. But first, guys, do me a quick favor. I would really appreciate it. Go to bit.ly/Lakers survey. Take you about 15 seconds to fill out this survey real quick. Helps me out with the podcast and our advertising. So would really appreciate if you guys could do that. bit.ly/Lakers survey. If you could do that, helps us out a ton. So again, that's bit.ly/Lakers survey. Okay, so I guess we should get into the latest breaking news first and foremost. And that is the news that came out in Adrian Wojnarowski's latest piece from ESPN stating that Rich Paul is going to make it known that Anthony Davis will only extend with the Los Angeles Lakers. Whoa, I mean that's huge. He's going to do that in order to try to depress offers in the marketplace and hopefully make the Lakers trade package more appealing. We've heard that the Pelicans weren't that impressed with the Lakers trade offers or trade packages, that they're not that into Brandon Ingram and Lonzo Ball and Kyle Kuzma and all of those pieces, which of course that's exactly what the Pelicans should be saying as they're trying to salvage any leverage they can get. But at this point, Rich Paul told the Pelicans already that Davis will not extend with them, and now he's going to make it known throughout the league that Davis's preferred destination is the Lakers and that he will be a rental player until 2020 if he is traded anywhere else. My goodness. Okay, so here's why this is such a big deal. So if you're the Lakers and you're putting together a package for Anthony Davis, your main trade chips, and this is what Brad Turner said of the LA Times, said the main package that the Pelicans would be interested in includes Lonzo Ball, Ivica Zubac, Kyle Kuzma, and a pick for Anthony Davis. Now, that's a great deal for the Lakers. Of course, they would have to take that. But if you're the Pelicans, is that really all that exciting? Maybe not. Maybe you try to get more. Maybe there's another team that's willing to take a flyer on Anthony Davis and say, hey, maybe we can convince him to stay. Right, like the Oklahoma City Thunder did with Paul George. They took a chance on him, traded away some pieces for him, and they were able to convince him to stay. And now Paul George is playing fantastic basketball for them. Maybe there's a team out there that would do the same thing with Anthony Davis, who is considered by pretty much everyone to be a top 5 player in the NBA. So if you're going to take a chance on somebody, that's the guy you're going to do it with. But if Rich Paul goes around and he flat out tells everyone, he's gone. If you surrender assets for him now, he is gone in 2020. He will leave as a free agent. And if those teams believe him, that would make them very reluctant to give up anything of significant value because, at most you get, a year and a half of Anthony Davis. So why is that significant? Well, you look at everything that they've been doing, that Rich Paul and Clutch Sports has been doing. They've been trying to funnel Davis to the Lakers without outright saying it because they're trying to make sure that Anthony Davis doesn't come off as the bad guy here, that his marketing value is still high, that he's still respected around the league and all of these things. They're trying to preserve his image, but you kind of read between the lines, right? The fact that they are asking for a trade before the trade deadline suggests that they don't want to go to the one place that the Pelicans would probably like to trade Anthony Davis because they've got a ton of assets, and that's the Boston Celtics. But because of that Rose rule and the little quirk in the collective bargaining agreement, the Boston Celtics can't trade for Anthony Davis until July. Okay, they're prohibited. They're the one team in the NBA that can't trade for Anthony Davis right now because they already have Kyrie Irving on their roster. And once Irving signs a new deal in July, then they can go ahead and trade for Anthony Davis. And to the Pelicans, that's probably preferable. In fact, this is just me speculating, but I would imagine that when Rich Paul first went to the Pelicans and said, hey, we'd like to be traded by the deadline, the Pelicans probably said, no, we would rather wait until the summer when the Boston Celtics can get in on the bidding, when we can maybe get Jason Tatum and all these draft picks that the Celtics have, and all of these pieces can come into play and maybe drive up the value. Well, then it would make a lot of sense for Rich Paul to go public with this. Instead of keeping it quiet, if the Pelicans aren't willing to make a move by the trade deadline, if you're suggesting that they kind of keep things hush-hush, Well, you got to put pressure on them. Okay, and again, this is just my hypothetical situation, but how would you put pressure on them? You make the trade demands public, because that would then cause the Pelicans to have to deal with just a swarm of media questions every single day from now until whenever they trade Anthony Davis. So the Pelicans are now staring down the barrel of having to trade Anthony Davis, and if you don't, if you wait until the summer, then you're going to get asked for the next 6 months every single day about Anthony Davis trades. It's going to hang over your franchise like a cloud, and that's exactly what Rich Paul wanted and exactly what Clutch Sports wanted, because, again, it puts the pressure on the Pelicans to get the deal done sooner rather than later, which, again, suggests that he does not want to become a Boston Celtic. And, in fact, Chris Haynes of Yahoo reported that the Celtics are indeed not a desired preference due to concerns that Kyrie Irving may leave. And I'm going to get into that in just a second, the whole Kyrie Irving situation, because that is absolutely mind-blowing. But the Lakers actually met, again, according to Chris Haynes of Yahoo, the Lakers met Monday morning to strategize, figure out how they're going to do this. Because obviously they don't want to let this opportunity slip away. The chance to combine Anthony Davis and LeBron James is not something to take lightly. You don't want to try to nickel and dime the Pelicans and risk them just saying, no, fine, we're not trading him to you. Them walking away from the negotiating table because they're probably already not pleased with the Lakers. We know they threw in that little shot about tampering in their press release, which was clearly aimed at the Los Angeles Lakers. They're probably not pleased with them, and you don't want to run the risk of the Pelicans just deciding to be petty, take their ball and go home and not trade Anthony Davis to the Lakers and just decide to trade him anywhere else, right? Because they can do that. They've got him under contract. So if you're the Lakers, you have to be careful. Yes, it would be wonderful if the Lakers could trade, I don't know, KCP and Lance Stevenson and Brandon Ingram and somehow get Anthony Davis in return. But that's not realistic, right? And if you go to the Pelicans with that kind of offer, you're just going to upset them, right? That's what's going to happen. So the Lakers have to be very careful. They have to walk that fine line. And they have to put forth a real offer that's not going to scare the Pelicans away. If Anthony Davis is already doing his part to try to scare away the Boston Celtics, that's going to give the Lakers a little bit more leverage. Because if the Celtics aren't that dark cloud on the horizon next summer where the Pelicans are just saying, we're just going to wait for Boston, right? If Anthony Davis is doing everything he can to convince the Celtics that, hey, I will not stay with you, the Celtics then are going to be reluctant, or probably be reluctant, to part with Jason Tatum or any of those major pieces. So they're already doing things on their end, and for the Pelicans, that's frustrating. So the Lakers have to come at them with a real offer that's not going to be insulting, it's not going to be trying to take advantage of the situation. You have to walk into this with the idea that you need to get a deal done. It's not so much about winning the trade, right? Sometimes people get caught up in that. It's not about winning the trade. It's about combining LeBron and Anthony Davis, and you need to do what it takes in order to make that happen. Okay? So if the Lakers come forth with a good and real offer, and from Adrian Wojnarowski's piece on ESPN, we know that the Lakers are expected to talk to the Pelicans soon. That's what Adrian is reporting. The Lakers and Pelicans are going to be talking. The Lakers have come up with a strategy, with a plan of how to approach the Pelicans. Now, you don't want to go at it with everything you've got just yet. You want to have a little bit of leeway, a little bit of room for bargaining, for wheeling and dealing in there. Of course, that's the way these things work. But the Lakers still have to put forth a good faith effort to really make a deal here in order to get this done for the trade deadline. But right now, it seems like everything is pointing towards Anthony Davis forcing his way to the Lakers, which is music to the ears of Lakers fans. Now, a couple other things we need to get into. In terms of the cap space, I've had a bunch of people asking me about this. So if the Lakers go and trade for Anthony Davis at the trade deadline, what is their cap situation next summer? Well, a lot of that depends on who they surrender. So if you look at Lonzo Ball and Brandon Ingram, both of those guys have bigger salaries than, say, Kyle Kuzma or Josh Hart or even Ivica Zubac, who's actually going to be a free agent next summer, because they were selected with the second overall pick. And those picks obviously carry bigger salaries for next season. Lonzo Ball next season is going to make $8.7 million. Brandon Ingram, $7.2. Kyle Kuzma, just $1.9. And same thing with Josh Hart, $1.9. So those guys are on tiny, tiny contracts compared to Lonzo Ball and Brandon Ingram. So if Ball and Ingram are in the deal, that's going to help to offset some of the salary that Davis would bring for the 2019-2020 season. However, if, say, the Lakers keep Lonzo Ball or they keep Brandon Ingram and they trade other pieces, let's say they trade a big expiring contract like Kentavious Caldwell-Pope, then that's going to eat in to their cap space for 2019-2020. Okay, now that's not necessarily a bad thing. You can always move these guys in another deal. But bottom line, if the Lakers go all out, let's say they do everything they possibly can to free up as much cap space as possible around LeBron James and Anthony Davis. And that means they literally gut their roster. Figuratively, not literally gut their roster. But they gut their roster. They clear everyone out except for LeBron James and Anthony Davis, right? Let's say they do that. They find a new home for Mo Wagner, for Isaac Bonga, for Svi Mikhailuk, anyone who has a contract that goes beyond this year, not named AD or LBJ. So if you do that, and you got to remember Luol Deng's salary is still going to sit on the books for almost $5 million as well. So you're going to have that, okay? But if you do that, you can get within a few $1,000,000 of being able to offer a max contract to a guy like Kyrie Irving or Klay Thompson. Why do I say those two names? Well, the rumor that has been brewing, we've been hearing these kind of rumblings, that despite Kyrie Irving saying that he will stay with the Boston Celtics last summer, that's what he told them, that's what he told Celtics fans, that maybe that's not such a done deal. And Chris Haynes of Yahoo did mention this, said that the feeling is that maybe Kyrie will leave. And then Brian Windhorst of ESPN kind of piggybacked on that and said that maybe Kyrie would want to rejoin with LeBron and Anthony Davis and become a new big three with the Lakers. Now that's pretty interesting, obviously, for Lakers fans to hear a new big three in Los Angeles. But if Kyrie were to do that, he would have to take a little bit less from the Lakers, and then they've got the challenge of building a team around them, building a team around Kyrie, LeBron, and Anthony Davis. Not easy to do when you're so capped out. They would basically be stuck with some minimum contracts and things like that. And that's where it would be nice if they had a little bit more leeway to work with so they could bring back some guys or hang on to some cap holds for guys and do things of that nature. But as of right now, they could do it. It wouldn't be easy for them to have those three max players, but they could. And Wojnarowski even mentioned on ESPN that Klay Thompson might be an option. Klay Thompson would apparently be interested in the Lakers if they land Anthony Davis, which, of course, a lot of people would be interested in playing alongside LeBron James and Anthony Davis, especially if you're a shooter like Klay, who would be getting a ton of open looks if he's sharing the floor with Anthony Davis and LeBron James. So Klay Thompson, though, Woj also threw in this little disclaimer that if the Warriors are not willing to offer a max deal, then he'd be interested in the Lakers. So to me, that I have to take the whole Klay Thompson thing with a grain of salt, because if you're Klay Thompson and you want to get a max deal out of the Warriors and you're afraid the Warriors might not give you that max deal, might not be willing to go that high on your next contract, the best way to guarantee that they do it is to sort of put out there that maybe you'll go join their biggest rival and create a new powerhouse in the West and a new contender for them to deal with if they don't pony up the cash. So to me, it seems like it's more of a threat geared at the Golden State Warriors than a real thing about him signing with the Lakers. But who knows? The bottom line is that the Lakers could, cap-wise, they could bring in that third star. Now, there's other options, of course. They could wind up, let's say Brandon Ingram isn't included in the trade. Sure, you can keep Brandon Ingram and build around him and LeBron and AD and then try to bring in some other pieces. They would have tons of options at their disposal, a lot of different ways the Lakers could go with this. But that would be up for Magic Johnson and Rob Pelinka to kind of formulate their plan moving forward. Sum it all up, the bottom line is that right now, the Lakers, things are looking good. Right? It's never done till it's done. We know teams have dragged their feet in the sand in the past. Teams have outright refused to trade with the Lakers in the past. Anything can happen right now. But as of this moment, in terms of what Lakers fans would want Anthony Davis to do in order to force a trade to LA and in order to get the Lakers a good deal, it seems like he is doing everything he possibly can to make that happen. Okay, that's what my takeaway is from all of this, especially this new Woj report suggesting that Rich Paul is going to go around and tell every team, don't trade for Anthony Davis. He is only going to play for the Lakers, and anyone else is just getting a rental, and that may be enough to scare away other suitors. But again, now it's on the Lakers to not come in with a weak offer that somebody else can trump because they are willing to take the risk that maybe he won't leave. Now is the time for the Lakers to come in with a strong offer and find a way to get this deal done. And that's exactly what Magic Johnson was brought in for, exactly what Rob Pelinka was brought in for, to close the deal when they need to. They managed to get it done last summer with LeBron James. Now this is their opportunity. They have between right now and the trade deadline to make this thing happen. If the trade deadline passes and the Lakers haven't made a trade for Anthony Davis, the Pelicans haven't sent him there, then the likelihood of him coming to LA drops. Because then Boston's going to get in on the bidding next summer. You're going to have other teams that are going to emerge. Right now is the time for the Lakers to strike, and I'm sure they are very, very well aware of that. So what does this all mean? It means that NBA reporters and Lakers reporters like myself, those of us in the blog world, we are probably not sleeping a whole lot between now and the trade deadline on Thursday, February 7th. Hang on to your seats, Lakers fans, because this is getting better and better by the minute, and it seems like this is constantly changing and evolving. It's going to be an amazing story to keep up with, and hopefully everything turns out well for your Los Angeles Lakers. All right, guys, that's going to be it for today. Make sure you head over to LakersNation.com, your home for everything Lakers, for more on this story and everything else going on in the world of the Los Angeles Lakers. And of course, if you have any comments, any thoughts, I'd love to hear them. If you're listening to this on YouTube, fire away in the comments section. I cruise through there and I'll respond to a bunch of them. If you're on LakersNation.com, our comments section obviously has some great takes on there. So make sure you throw out your thoughts on this whole situation there. And of course, if you're on iTunes, throw a review to us, and I'm interested to hear what you guys have to say. Again, thanks so much for listening, guys. My name is Trevor Lane. Follow me on Twitter at Trevor_Lane or on Instagram at TrevorLaneNBA. Till next time, see ya.